if something had, I could understand it derailing, but nothing has changed.
Right.
All the wheels are on the track. The speed hasn't changed. But something in that helix just keeps changing. And I don't understand what it is, because that locomotive can run through there 30 times like a Swiss watch.
Yeah.
And then just all of a sudden, one round, nope, I'm not doing it anymore. See? Just like it just derailed over here. What caused
That's
it to,
beyond frustrating, yeah.
what caused it to derail? Because all wheels were on the track. Track 2 has been running just fine.
Yeah.
The layout is shorty.
Really?
Yeah. And it's points are fine. But now all of a sudden it's just decided, you know what? I don't want to run across this turnout. Now it runs across it fine.
Now.
There's something that just shorts every now and then, and I just don't understand what it is.
Right.
It'll run, like I say, it'll run 30 times across there with absolutely no. And then just one time, it does not want to play nice. And I'm not right there with my goggles looking straight at it when it happens, because the next time I run across there, it runs fine.
That's beyond frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It's like a gremlin.
Right.
It's like when I'm intentionally not looking at it, it's gonna mess up. But as long as I sit right there and stare at it, I can stare at it and watch it go across for an hour, and it'll run like a Swiss watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scale trains. It's got to keep alive in it. It runs absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But something up in under there snagged that locomotive and stopped.
So here's something. I know it doesn't look right. Run it the same direction.
Yeah.
But flip the locomotive around so the back is leading.
Right.
And see if it does the same thing.
Well, the scale trains doesn't have trip pins like micro trains does, and the plow is up high enough, so it's not. See, I just watched it go through there, and it just went through there just fine.
Right.
But I understand what you're saying. You know, is it something in the locomotive?
It could be in the truck, yeah.
But no, it came across there as smooth as silk, and it just went into track 2 staging, smooth as silk. And that's the same way on those SD90s, because those SD90s, sometimes they will run through those curves just like a Swiss watch, just like a Kato should.
Right.
And then sometimes it's just, I will not go. You're not going to make me go. But it just ran through track 2 staging fine. You're coming in on the backside of it now. All turnouts are set, just like they have been. Just right across that shorty turnout, just fine, no problems. Just went across the double cross fine, no problems. Went into the climbing curve fine, no problems. But it's kind of spinning its wheels though, just dragging those three cars in that curve.
Right.
And it's just those Bombardier cars, they just, man, they drag like they got square wheels. Now, could I put some graphite in there? Maybe. What do you call it stuff? That puff powder, is that graphite that you use for the microtrains truck? I mean, the microtrains couplers,
Yes, I think so.
little puff bottle.
Yes, I think so.
I think it's called Greasel or whatever.
Yeah, if it's dry, then yeah, it's probably graphite.
We used to have.
There's a, now I think about auto parts wise, there is a graphite spray that's like sprayed out with alcohol, which will evaporate. But
Okay.
it'll carry it out as a propellant, like a spray can.
Right.
But yeah, you might be able to get one of those.
Well, graphite is a good. Graphite is a good conductivity also.
Yes, it's a good conductor also.
Unless you put it on too heavy. The more you put it on, the worse the conductivity gets.
Okay.
So I have taken a number 2 lead pencil and just lightly rubbed it on the railhead.
Yeah.
And it seems like it kind of improves the conductivity of the rail. Now, I'm a firm believer in drops. If there's a piece of rail that is dead, it's going to get a drop. I don't care if it's an inch away. I don't care if it's 5 inches away. I don't care if it's 17 inches away.
Right.
Bengals just scored 27-20 with 1 minute left in the game.
Wow.
Yep,
Where are they playing?
they're playing at Dallas.
Okay.
Jerry's pissed. They're showing a picture of it right now. They're showing a picture of him. They got the top open at the stadium right now.
Oh, no, good.
Yeah. The last time they tried to open it a few weeks ago, a big chunk of steel fell off and hit the field.
Did what?
Big chunk of steel aluminum fell out of the ceiling and hit the field down there. Didn't hit anybody, but
It's pretty bad.
yeah, 1 minute to go. Oh, and it was on an interception. See, it just derailed over there again.
Backwards?
No, same way, and it wasn't even off the tracks. It just shorted for whatever stupid reason. None of the wheels were off. None of the turnouts were shorted in the throw. Boomer's looking at me like I'm crazy. He can tell when I start stressing about something.
How's that?
I don't know, he can just tell. So I'm gonna, there's actually a metal surface, this insulation that I used for the staging yard
Right.
actually has an aluminum surface to it, and I didn't realize it. I'm gonna try something here. But I ended up having to put blue painter's tape down between the turnouts and the turnouts and the table surface.
Okay.
And I come to find out there's a metal plate that's on the bottom of the number 6 turnout. And if anything is conductive, it touches that metal plate. That metal plate will touch the metal aluminum, which will short the turnout. So that may be a problem that I'm running into. We'll fix the roll through it now. And it rolled through there fine with no shorts. And it just shorted. Why is it shorting here at this double cross? Alright, so I'm gonna change it now and run it up the inside track, see if I have any issues there.
Oh.
You can bring up video on your phone. I'm broadcasting live now.
Okay. I'm thinking about maybe redoing the stuff with using like Unitrack, kind of like your situation you're going through right now. I'm looking at HO Unitrack, and this thing, it's hard for me to tell, but let's do this. There we go. It's showing a broad view of it. This Unitrack has super elevation built into it. I wonder if that's what's going on with your Helix versus your Atlas track.
My Atlas track elevated, and
Right.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. That could be definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I may use Unitrack on my tighter curves just because it's you know what their curve is. You know what I mean? You don't have that.
You don't have a variation. You don't have a variation in the radius.
Right.
And it's a solid radius all the way around.
Right.
I agree. And I've got
And
the
it has the support, like I don't have to sit there and try to prop it up later.
right. And you see, the thing I like about doing the Helix with it is it supports itself.
I do like that, yep.
And that leaves a thin clearance where I could actually drop that Helix down a little bit, lessen the grade on it. You see, it took the double cross fine right there.
Okay.
But it seems like coming out of this one turnout, going into the double cross there could be an issue there. But she's still grinding a little bit, trying to come up that sharp curve. I think if I had many more cars on that train, I don't think that single locomotive would pull it.
Okay.
But you see, the top curve in the back corner of the wall is the same radius as the Kato Unitrack. I used the Kato Unitrack as a radius for that back there because I wanted my minimum radius. You see, something just stopped it. And it just streamlined and fell off the layout.
What the?
And it just shorted
Holy crap.
the whole fucking thing.
I need to go live. I need to watch you.
Oh yeah, it's a shit show right now. And the question is, why did it do it? Because nothing has changed. But all the Bombardier cars just went over the cliff. They did go all the way to the floor. It just went to the staging area.
Yeah. I'm hearing you twice now because there's a delay on the video. Did you see these comments from Canadian Locomotive Logistics? He says, are you DCC with JMRI, and would you let people be interested in operate your layout real time like I do?
If you're watching right now, yes, it is DCC with JMRI. However, at this time, until I get the layout actually up and running with Industries and I get the track proofed and all of that stuff, I'm not going to have anybody running remote as of yet. Someday when I have my next levels on and stuff like that, yeah, possibly. But, I don't know. I'll have to see because right now my JMRI is just set up for Y throttle where I can use wireless cell phone throttles here in the layout room itself. Later on, are you able to hear me? Okay, am I coming out on this feed? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So what's going to happen later on is this is a 14 by 10-foot room. I live on a ranch, and I've got another 7.5 by 35 building outside that I'm going to move over here and butt up against this wall to make this layout room larger. Once I do that, yes, maybe, but that's going to be way in the future. And I appreciate the comments made also. I'm not checking the laptop much right now to see if anybody has made a comment or anything, simply because I'm up to my rear end alligators right this moment, trying to test this stuff. And it keeps changing on me because it seems like I've got gremlins here somewhere that's changing the dynamics of the rail. So, that being said, I might just put one car on there and let one car run around.
Okay.
You see, this thing just, man, it just roll like a brick. You know, I went up to Canada one time, back when I was on the fire department. We had an exchange program where London, Ontario Fire Department, they had a firefighter come down here for 2 weeks, and I ended up going up there for 2 weeks. And one of my grain cars that I have here on the layout, Canada, I guess it's a government grain car, I bought up there in Canada while I was in London, brought it home, and that's kind of my symbolic.
Hey, he's asking if it's in scale. If you can work that in when you can.
Oh yes, it is. It's in scale. I've been doing. I run what's called the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe, of course, but I started the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe Railroad in 1982. The actual merger wasn't until '96, but I started running BNSF back in 1982, just before I joined the Army.
No. I think he dropped off, but yeah, cool. You got it.
So I think I'm just going to run one car for now, because I need to find out where I'm running into the shenanigans of the derail. And I think that Joe, I think you're correct. I think
I wouldn't have realized that until I was looking it up for my needs. I was like, hey, that's cool, super elevated.
it is super elevated. And a friend of mine that's in HO lives up in Plano. His name's Tom Santella. Tom will never be on YouTube. He still uses a cell phone that's a 1984 Nokia. He doesn't have text or anything. If you want to send him something, you got to send him something via email.
Okay.
But he asked me the other day if my track was super elevated.
Okay.
And I told him yes. And he says, does super elevation actually have an effect in N scale? And yeah. And I would think so, but you see, these Bombardier cars are they're very light. They don't have a lot of weight in them.
I noticed that, yeah.
Which is probably a good thing because of the way they drag on the track and stuff.
Right. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about doing anything super elevated because to me, we're taught super elevation is for higher speed main lines. Okay,
correct.
That's what we're taught at Herzog. Because the problem is, it's based on average train speed.
Correct.
Right? And so that's all fine and dandy when trains are able to do those speeds. But the second that they're not able to do those speeds, you start running into the risk that the super elevation itself can cause problems for the train's dynamics of operation. So in other words, the super elevation itself can cause a train to flip over or, rotate over off the axis as a result of being on super elevated and going too slow. But that is for, massive banking. And so, yeah, I'm 40-mile-an-hour railroad. There's no need for super elevation on my railroad. But that being said, going to Mike Armstrong's Rock Island Railroad and realizing that his curves were super elevated and those trains ran better around those tighter curves, yeah, I think there's something to it. We're not doing it in model form for speed. We're doing it in model form because our curves are probably 3 to 4 times tighter than they are in the real life best.
Right.
So yeah, I think my tighter curves, I think I'm going to go ahead and super elevate them to get them where these trains will start running better.
A friend of mine with TxDOT, his name is Jerry Newsom. Jerry was on the fire department with the city of Angus. Well, I was on the fire department for the city of Mustang, and Jerry works for TxDOT. And he tried to explain super elevation to me from the fact that super elevation is set for the miles per hour that they want you to run. So if you're running 75 miles an hour on an interstate into a curve, they build that curve for the average vehicle to take 75 miles an hour without feeling like you're leaning sideways on it. If you're going too slow, you'll actually fall into the inside of the curve. If you're going too fast, you'll actually pull to the outside of the curve. And again, I'm not having any problems now.
I just hate doing this because it's going to be a lot more expensive than Flex Track, but I think I'm going to get better. I think I'm going to get better operation out of it.
My track price is not expensive for the Kato track. I could buy. See, the packages of Flex Track come in 2 sections at 45 degrees. So you get 90 degrees worth of track for $12.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Now if you do a full 360 degrees, that's $48. So 2 loops. What's 48 times 2? 96?
Yeah.
So it's $96 for 2 loops worth of helix.
Right. But if it operates flawlessly,
Yeah,
it's worth it.
right. And I am a firm believer in you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
My main distraction from it, though. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
My main distraction is I'm looking at it, and one, it doesn't have the tie detail that I want. I mean, I'm a track guy.
That's correct.
I know what track's supposed to look like, and that bothers me. And then also, you don't get a choice on the ballast color. That kind of irritates me also.
I have seen YouTube videos where people have ballasted Kato track, and what they do is they base color the track with a spray paint or an airbrush or a gun or something.
Right.
And then they put the corresponding ballast over the top of it.
Okay.
You see, I've made 2 loops now with just 1 car. Absolutely no problem. So now I'm going to run it backwards.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you on the ballast, and that's why I'm only using Kato track in the hidden areas.
Right.
I'm still using Atlas track for my scenic area.
Yeah.
Because my main line is a 2-tone gray.
Right.
And my sidings are a maroon DNRGW style ballast, cinder ballast.
Right. I need to start setting up this tree on my hoodie.
Yep. Yep.
I need to see what the minimum radius on a Kato SD90 is.
In N scale or HO?
HO.
I can look that up for you.
Oh, sure.
Minimum radius for HO SD80.
Same thing. SD90, the same thing. Yep.
Yeah.
That is cool.
What's that?
I'm still glancing through it. It says it can make an 18-inch radius. That's wrong.
I'm kind of seeing that too, but it's giving me stuff. See, it won't, for some reason, stupid reason or another, it never gives me SD80. It's just like, you know what, I just don't want to show that to you. Here's one for an SD40.
Yeah, that's smaller radius, yeah, or smaller wheelbase. Here's a guy that says he's got 90s, his smallest radius is 20 inches. But I was having problems with them on my layout, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, that's the problem that I'm running into. So I looked for the minimum radius in an N scale SD90, and the minimum radius, they say the minimum radius for an N scale SD90 is 18 inches.
Oh, on an N scale.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to Kato here.
I'm going to get to work while you're looking that up.
Okay, so supposedly the minimum radius Kato says for N-scale models is 9 3/4, and for HO scale the minimum is 18 inches. I call BS on that for the SD80 because the SD80 is different. And you see, it just ran all the way around backwards, no problems. See, they'll give it to me for an SD70 Mac, but they won't give it to me for an SD80.
What's a 70 max minimal?
Let's see. Let me get back up there too. I don't want to get the app. They're saying, been looking at Kato SD70 Mac, was wondering what the minimum radius it would run well on. I've not decided on any scale yet. We're looking at my options. I would be running Kato Unitrack and number 6 power routing turnouts. Most likely, let's see here.
Is he in or HO?
He's HO, I believe.
Okay. It's unusual to find HO guys running. They're there.
Most N scales negotiate an 11-inch radius. And you see, nobody wants to answer his question. All they could turn around and say is, well, do you want it to look like a toy or do you want it to look prototypical? I don't care what it looks like. I want to know what the minimum.
But there is a relevancy to that I wasn't really taking into consideration either for mine.
Right,
So
but
visible parts of the layout.
right. They're saying here he tries to aim for a minimum of 16.25 inch radius fixed curves.
It's still
HO.
16 inch.
Yep. And he said that may be a bit tighter on the switches. I'd like to run some decent length trains with up to 2 to 4 engine lash ups of 6-axle diesels.
Hey, 16 inch?
I think so.
I don't think that's possible unless you're running like traction.
I don't know. I mean, you ask a question. You ask a question, and nobody wants to give you a straight answer for it.
Right. Huh.
Now, here's something in Model Train Forum that says Kato having constant derailing issues. But it still won't tell you what the minimum radius it's supposed to be able to run on.
I'm curious, if you don't mind, can you go to Kato USA's website and see if they've got it listed with their literature?
Yeah, just a minute. Of course, it wants to tell me, oh, it's closed now. It'll be open tomorrow.
Oh, that's good to know.
Is the website closed too?
Yes.
HO scale SD90. Sorry, no content matched your criteria.
You know what? Same wheelbase. I wonder if Athearn has a minimum radius on their Genesis SD90.
But yet I could probably click here on HO scale, locomotives. And look, there's the SD80 Mac. It's because I didn't put the Mac in behind it. BCC friendly, directional headlights, 5-pole motor, road name specific, 42-inch metal wheels.
You hear the hydraulic whirring?
Yeah,
Okay.
tells you all the good stuff about it, but it doesn't tell you what the minimum radius is.
Stupid. Maybe they're afraid people won't buy it.
Right. Yeah, they want to sell you one. They don't want to give you the details on it. Okay, so let's go back here. Minimum radius for the Cadia SD80 Mac. Minimum SD80 Mac locomotive is generally considered to be 18 inches. However, due to its large size, Kata recommends using larger curves, ideally 24 inches or more, for optimal operation to avoid issues with coupling cars on tight turns. But 18 inch is the minimum.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm definitely using something a lot more than 18. I think I'm trying to keep 24, but I think realistically, another 22. But if I'm buying Unitrack, I can buy the radius that I want. And they make it 24, they make it 34. So.
Now in the N scale, it says your SD80 Mac has the ability to run on 9 3/4 inch radius, but it won't look pretty. For your auto racks and passenger cars, the minimum operating radius would be around 11 inches. And you see, every single one of my curves are above 11 inches.
That's good.
But in order to look decent, I would probably want to keep it above 18 inches. Cowboys lost.
Wow.
Yep.
Well,
You see, I'll run one car down through there just fine.
yeah. That's good. That's close enough. So you said you're about 11 inches radius on yours?
My minimum radius on the inside curve can't find it now. There we go. That is better somewhere.
Oh, shoot.
Well, I had it earlier.
Oh, train coming.
What line is that over there?
Do what?
What line is that over there?
I haven't really been able to figure that out, to be honest. It's Waxahachie. I mean, you said that goes to Corsicana, right?
Oh, if it's Waxahachie, it's BNSF.
Okay. Is it the line that goes towards Midlothian, Cleaver? No, you said Corsicana before.
Well, it goes both places. One line, there's several lines that go up through Waxahachie. And the one that goes down, I think there's one that goes over to Midlothian. But I think it branches off way on up around Mansfield.
I feel like I've seen UP on it a few times, though. Do they have tractor tracks on it?
Possibly. I haven't really researched it that much.
I haven't either. I'm not entirely sure where this one comes down from, if it's directly from Dallas. Actually, this is probably that line that comes through Decatur.
Well, I do know that line to Waxahachie comes out of Tower 55.
Oh. Yeah, I'm thoroughly confused then.
Finally fixing to get this LPG car off this SD40-2.
Did you get it running better?
Which one?
Propane car?
Yeah. I don't think it was actually the problem. I think the problem was actually that other tank car that was that was mated to it.
Alright.
I did get all the handrails put back on it.
Yeah.
Man, you sound like you're trying to lift the trailer with your bare hand.
Quit listening to me. I wasn't even lifting anything. I was bending over. I don't bend over very good. I can tell you that right now.
I don't think any of it's been over very good anymore.
Well,
I do need to put more drops off in these ladder tracks.
I hate doing drops.
I don't mind it as long as the bus wire is towards the front of the layout where I'm not having to reach way up in there to get to it.
Yeah. That might be the difference there then.
And now that I've moved my bus wire closer to the front of the layout, it's better.
Okay.
Learning all the time.
Yeah.
But until I get the drops put on these ladders, I'm not going to be able to run the locomotive off in there.
Alright. How long before you put that next section of plywood on the upper level so you can finish your yard out?
Getting pretty close.
Hell yeah.
My next deal is going to be to connect those staging tracks on that back corner back there. Once I get those tracks connected in on that back corner back there, that next level is going on. But I'm going to have to build a custom piece of styrofoam or plywood to make that 90-degree turn. Because originally the tracks went straight down.
Oh, okay.
And now I've got to make this 90-degree turn.
I tell you what, it's a lot easier building these layouts in your head than doing it in real life.
Well, my problem is it's already been built once.
Right.
So now I'm having to modify it for the space.
Right.
And you see, if it hadn't been for an ex-wife that didn't like model trains, this layout would still be out in that 35-foot room.
Yep. Probably further along, huh?
And probably further along. But I'm just happy, see, this section that I'm running on right now is 20, and I'm just happy it's running as smooth as it is at 20 years old. because that's original track. So 3496 is on this road.
All right, I'm gonna walk in and use the restroom. I'll call you back in a few.
All right, I'll be here.
Bye, man.
TRE into the industrial siding.
Yeah, I was gonna do that the other day. How'd it do?
It's done perfect.
Yeah, I can see you making a station stop that way.
I'm seriously thinking about it. I don't know if I'm gonna do industrial or if I'm gonna do a station stop there.
Yeah. What I'm thinking, what I might suggest is, it's not really prototypical to anything offhand, but do 2 stub tracks coming off that diamond, off your diamond coming across that switch, okay? And have TRE shove into that station, and then Amtrak, when you get Amtrak up and running, it uses the siding because it'll be a longer train.
Yes. And then stub that siding for the TRE.
Yeah, so you got like a 3-track station kind of.
Yeah.
That can be pretty interesting.
Yeah, because you'd have to push pull in and out.
Yep.
Just like
Yep.
on the, I think on the prototype it does the same thing, doesn't it? Isn't that a dead end back there?
For TMP, yeah. It'd probably be a little bit more like Dallas if you think about it, because Dallas is stub-ended for TRE, but Amtrak comes through on a 3-track.
Right. Yeah, I just picked up the other 2 cars out of it. I set 2 of the cars over in the grain silo. Now I'm pulling them back out. I'm gonna set it down there on the far end. Now the only thing about it is when Amtrak is in, you won't be able to do any switching at the grain silo.
Yeah, but that's only a moment in time.
Right.
The nice thing is if you do a station down there, you can kind of make it kind of tall where it'll hide that wall a little bit, you know?
Right. Yeah, and I'm going to end up putting a backdrop up there blocking part of that window.
Yeah, yeah.
Windows and model railroads don't mix well together.
No, they don't. I remember when I had my building, I spec'd it. They're like, "How many windows you want?" None. And they looked at me like I was an idiot. I'm like, "I don't want windows." Like, oh, well, that's cheaper. I'm like, yeah.
But yeah, I could do a platform. I could do platforms over there, and the only thing would be neat would be able to put a small track in there for dart. I don't know if they make any dart stuff though in scale.
Cato makes a tram that you could use to kind of look like it.
Yeah.
And I think Cato makes catenary for their Unitrack also.
Yes, I believe they do. I need to hook this track up over here for the actual fueling, so I can store locomotives over there.
Yeah. Pull them out and yeah. You know. You're an encouragement to me because you keep out there working, and it makes me want to do stuff too, you know.
And you know what? Shane Singleton. He has his channel, Trains with Shane.
Yeah.
has really done the same thing for me. Even though he doesn't have a layout, he's given me the encouragement to get out here and work on stuff.
Right.
Because I was, for quite a while, when I first laid this deck on top, I was pretty overwhelmed. Because I had 4 or 5 different projects going at one time instead of just one project going. And it was one project that I didn't like that much.
Yeah.
So I kept hesitating and hesitating and hesitating on it.
Right.
What, baby? But I've got this drill track working pretty good now. You said you went pretty far back on that drill track the other day.
I did. Yeah. Maybe at least 3/4 of the way, if not a little bit further.
And you see, that is actually going to make a 90-degree turn and go through that closet.
I remember you saying that.
To where, yeah, because the drill track needs to be as long as your longest yard track.
My drill track's pretty dang long right now.
I think that the drill track needs to be as long as possible.
Yeah. I need to hide it for visibility's sake, and that worries me because I need accessibility to it too. But I think I'm just going to do a low height wall on it, just enough to cover the trees. You don't really see them, but if you need to get to them, you can get in there and look at it. You know.
Right.
I'm a little bit worried how that's going to look from eye level, if you can even see an edge or not, or if it'll hide. I don't know yet, but time will tell. You know, try it, see if you like it. If not, figure out another way. You know.
Anything that I have hidden in a perfect world will have a camera back there.
Yeah. But that's also why I think I'm bringing that main line in through Kittitas, the operating main line through Kittitas, is it brings it back into the layout center.
Okay.
So it's not hidden, so to speak. So I may still do that concept. I may just have to engineer a runaround out in Ellensburg also.
I kind of wish I'd done this interlocking different because there's so much. Because I got 2 crossovers and a diamond there.
Yeah.
I wish I had designed that a little bit different, but it's an interlocking. I'm going to put a tower down there.
Okay.
And it has, you know, a focus point of interest.
Right.
That fella from Canada, that's the first time I've seen somebody from out of the U.S. on the live feed.
Yeah, that was interesting. I wonder what brought him into it, how he
Cause I've got it set to public,
Yeah.
so anybody on the internet, on YouTube that sees I guess the advertisement for it can watch.
Yeah. That also means he was listening to our half of the phone conversation.
No,
I wonder if that was entertaining or not.
I think they can hear you because I've got you turned up pretty loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I might have to switch the couplers out on this cotton belt to boost because it doesn't have magnetics. It just has like the Kato style where you have to actually lift it up over the top of it to get it to connect.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't know cotton belt had wide vision cabooses. I thought they were all bay windows. Need to find some place to put this SD40. Might try to put it down here. Alright, 34 down to 6. I do love the way this Kato operates with this low sound 5 in it.
Did you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you have sound in? I can't remember.
I have sound in that
Gevo.
that Gevo, yeah, that's running the TRE.
Yeah.
And I've got sound in the FP45, which is currently junk.
Right. Now that would be kind of cool in TRE colors. If you ever ran across another one.
Well, I thought about that. I actually thought about that, and I was running that red and silver Santa Fe with the TRE cars.
Yeah.
I would ultimately like to see, I've got 2 of those F59 PHs.
You have 2 of them? I always saw the one, huh?
I have 2.
Okay.
But they're going to have to be taken totally apart, cleaned, re-lubed, and probably fresh decoders put in them. They are not a decoder-friendly locomotive.
Well, I haven't heard good things with the way those run.
What's wrong with it?
What's that?
I said, whoops, went the wrong way.
Oh, what's that?
My brakeman's not out there paying attention to what the hell he's supposed to be
And
doing.
that happens in the real world, too.
Yep.
You're going to have to let me know when you're on live and I'm on speakerphone. That way I know I don't have to say nothing else. I'm not supposed to say.
You are live right now.
Okay. So I'm not going to share stories about me lining wrong switches when I work for the railroad.
You just did.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, when I lay that next deck in, there's going to be a whole separate yard there.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That's going to be another 5 tracks that's going to be arrival departures.
powertrain together.
You bobtailing home?
I am. Yeah, I gotta get this over to Ryder in the morning.
Yeah, we used to drop them off late at night over there and just have another driver come pick us up, where he'd be sitting there at the yard the next morning for him.
Oh yeah, I probably could do that, but she'd have to come pick me up in the car right now, and I ain't getting her out of bed.
God forbid.
Yeah.
But see, we had like a total of 6 or 7 trucks out there all running the same route back and forth.
Uh-huh.
So, so I'd just get a hold of another driver that was in line and say, hey, would you drop by over here at Ryder and pick me up? I'm leaving my truck out for service.
Yeah.
And then I'd just ride with him to the pit, and we would load. And then when he got back to Corsicana, he just dropped me off at the yard.
Who was that you were driving for at that time?
Excel Bulk.
Okay.
That used to be a different company, and then Excel bought them,
Okay.
and it became Excel Bulk. And then they ended up losing the contract. They were hauling sand for the glass plant over here at Guardian.
I know there's a glass plant over there.
Yeah, they make plate glass. I think they make plate glass. I think they make windshields too. It's rail served by the BNSF.
Okay.
The sand came in by truck, and the other materials came in by rail.
When I worked for Millis, they did a lot. They still do. They did a lot with Miller. But one of our backhauls back to Miller was to go into the glass plant. Oh, it's Corning in Waco. They make the beer bottles. And I always liked going in there and picking stuff up because it was just kind of a neat facility. But they had a couple of tracks and just 2 bays. And
Hey, not to interrupt you, but your train that came through Waxahachie, coming through down here now.
Oh, he made pretty good time.
Yep, I hear his horn.
Huh.
If he's just coming in on the north side of Corsicana.
Yeah. But one thing I liked over there though is they had these bins. You know, front end loaders would go in and out of, but they had these bins of just broken glass and slag from the process. And I went over there and picked up rock slag of different colors of glass. So I think she's lost them or misplaced them around the house, but I have like blue glass slag, green glass slag, brown glass, clear glass.
Right.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, they got the same thing over here at Guardian. They have
Okay.
pellet pile, and the front end loader has solid wheels on it that are cut literally all the shit.
Yeah. I tell you what, them tires aren't cheap for front end loaders. We'd go through them on the railroad because we'd pick up a spike or something with them.
Right.
Man.
All right, I got your Amtrak cars out that you had parked out there in the yard. I've got the grain cars back over at the silo.
I was pretty impressed with how that Amtrak Super ran in the back of that freight train.
Yeah.
It ran smooth.
And that's only 2. I've got enough Amtrak cars to make a full size transcontinental.
Had them up on the shelves, yeah.
Yeah, a full size transcontinental train.
Yeah.
And I've even got the I've even got
the
the,
baggage cars and oh yeah,
what they call those, the fast freight box cars or whatever.
MHCs, material handling cars.
Yeah, I've got two of those MHCs also.
You probably don't need them now with your modeling contemporary. That business fell off Amtrak in the early 2000s.
I'm modeling 1996.
You are?
I am.
Okay, well then you're right in line with what I'm modeling on my railroad then. But yes, you'd want a crap ton of MHCs then. Do you remember those box cars that they had in the late 90s? Going into 2000s?
Yeah, that was the ones that had the big wheel on the side door.
All of Amtrak's express boxes had those wheels, but yes, the 60-foot box cars that had the big wheels on them. Yeah. I saw a train of those one time going across to Hatchapee. So you had all the phase 4, because you had the green ones that were like REA and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw like a 40-car train of those things because Amtrak was having an issue. You know, it was great putting them on a passenger train loaded, but when they were empty, they wouldn't want to put them on the passenger train, and so they would get stockpiled, and they moved them from Oakland down to LA, down the valley in California. But yeah, it was kind of cool just seeing a whole train of Amtrak boxcars behind, I don't know if it's BNSF or SPUs, but you know, that was kind of neat to see. Because Amtrak wanted to move them as their own train.
Right.
You know, because you know, they could theoretically do that. It just wouldn't be a passenger train. And the freight trains are like, no, you're not a freight railroad. You haul passengers, and if you don't have any passengers, then you can't run an extra train.
You're stealing our revenue, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they fought Amtrak quite a bit on that express business. All right, speed limit 60 miles an hour, and I've got an ambulance that just got on in front of me. He's got his lights flashing, but he's not wanting to do 60.
Okay.
So I'm just going to slow down to be behind him, but that's irritating. It's like, I don't want to pass you while you got your lights on.
Yeah, it's against the law to pass him while he's got. It's against the law to pass a fire truck or ambulance if they're running. And that used to be a bad thing, because when we had to get on the interstate to go south, like down to Richland or something, top speed on the engine is 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So we would run the outside lane, and a lot of times we'd turn our lights off, you know, so people could go around us on the left side. We'd just turn our lights off until we got down near our exit. Then we would cut the lights and siren back on again.
Okay, I've seen that.
And what kills me is when a highway patrolman gets out there, not running lights, not running siren. He's in the right lane, but he's only running 55 miles an hour. And people will slow down, afraid to go around him.
That's stupid. But I'm not upset with the officer for doing that. I'm upset for the people not knowing they can get around them.
Right.
But they do the same thing with people that are out of jurisdiction too. It's like, oh gosh, that's a Dallas cop and I'm in Fort Worth. I better slow down.
Yeah, right. You got a freaking sheriff's car from Little Rock, Arkansas, going down the highway, going down I-45 to Houston. Oh my God, I want to go around and he might write me a ticket.
Right.
He's not even in his correct state.
Right.
All right.
They'll slow down for a fire chief that's in something that looks like it's police enforcement.
That's why our command vehicles were red. See, some of the command vehicles are white with a red stripe.
Yeah.
They don't see the red stripe. All they see is a white vehicle with lights on it, and oh my God, it's the police. Now, the fire marshal, see, the command vehicles would be red, But the fire marshal's vehicle would be white with a red stripe. Because the fire marshal is actually a law enforcement officer. Can he write you a speeding ticket? No. He's strictly an arson investigator.
Right, but he knows somebody that can.
But
If
he knows,
you piss them off enough, they can do it,
he knows somebody that can, yes.
But the thing is, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you don't have to worry about them.
Right. But you see, people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing because a lot of times they're texting on their phone, which is against the law.
Yeah.
Or they're watching TV, or they're putting their makeup on, or they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing everything that they're not supposed to be doing except paying attention driving their vehicle.
Right.
And this boils back down to what I call the dumbing down of society.
Right.
And people are willing to break the law and pay for it.
Right.
It's called pay to play. Somebody will run down the highway at 100 miles an hour. Police officer will pull them over. All right, give me my ticket. I gotta go.
Yeah, that's an embarrassment.
And then they'll run right back down the highway again at 100 miles an hour. When I was reserving for the city of Frost, we pull somebody over in Frost because Frost drops down to a 45 mile an hour speed zone. Coming through there, and we catch them. We catch them running 70 and a 45, write them a ticket, and just before we cut them loose, we call the Blooming Grove officer down the road saying, "Hey, this guy was flying pretty good. You might want to get out there on the highway see if you can get him again."
I wonder how often that happened.
A lot. And sure enough, he'd be out there about 15 minutes later, 3:35, Navarro County traffic. Said it, and me and Carl would look at each other and say, "Yep, same one."
Good. Maybe they'll learn.
They don't learn. But you see, here's the thing about it is they start getting points on their license,
Right.
or they don't show up for court, or they just throw the ticket in the trash or something like that.
Warrant against them,
Then it goes to warrant. And they don't care, they pay the fine. Because on the flip side, a lot of cities won't put it on your driving record as long as you pay the fine. All the city wants is the money.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I got out of law enforcement in '93, because there's just no respect anymore for the for the law enforcement, and it's a lot of times the problem with the officer, because you got good officers, you got bad officers.
Right.
So, and hey, did you hear about that? What was he? Mesquite? Was he a Mesquite officer, Garland officer, or something like that? Turned himself in today for inappropriate sexual relationship.
No, I hadn't heard about that. Okay.
Yeah, and he had just gotten written up not too long ago for not having his body camera on while he was out on a traffic stop. And I guess it come back to bite him. I don't know if it was a minor or not, but somebody probably filed harassment on him.
Yeah. Well.
That Devo will sit there and idle all night. And it's got different sounds that come on every now and then. Every now and then the air brakes will pop, or the spitter will start, or the air compressor will come on. Or,
Yeah.
I think that's really neat how it's got the prototypical.
That little RS11 I've got that's got sound in it, it'll do radio chat. Like if it hadn't been moving for a while, and it kind of throws you off when you haven't really, you hear it idling, but you're doing something else and you're not paying attention to it, and all of a sudden you hear someone start talking. You're like, wait, what?
My FP45 does the same thing. It'll start.
Okay.
It'll start some radio chatter.
I think they probably have the same sound decoder because I think I put a Tsunami in it, which is soundtracks, and Athearn uses soundtracks from what I remember.
Yeah, and it's a pretty basic decoder too. See these this SD40-2 and this Givo, when you turn 8 off, it will actually go through a shutdown sequence.
Yeah.
Where on the Athearn FP45, it just mutes it.
Yeah, I could care less for a startup and shutdown. I mean, it's kind of neat, but it's not necessary for me.
Yeah.
I like the running noises from it running, but I don't, that's it.
Right. And you see,
because I'll be honest, I mean, rarely do you hear a startup and shutdown sequence.
right.
I did when I worked on the railroad because we were starting them, but the casual person trackside is not going to hear that very often at all.
Well, the railroad leaves them running 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
They do down there at Teague.
Right, class ones, yeah. But I mean, our shoreline would shut them down.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, most people aren't going to be trackside hearing us starting them up.
Right.
And they don't all start up at the same time either. We got a 3-unit lash up. We're going to start each one up individually.
Right. And
that does sound neat. It does have a neat element to it, but it's just not needed for a model railroad, in my opinion.
well, I think the way I'm going to run mine is if I have a lash up, one locomotive will have sound.
Okay.
Maybe two if it's got like a DPU in the center. I'll do the DPU with sound, and I'll do the head end locomotive with sound. Because I think, but when you get too many locomotives running sound at the same time, it's pretty loud. If you don't have the volume set on.
Yeah. Now, see, I mean, if you're running all the units that are the exact same thing, I don't think that's such a distraction. But if you're running, an EMD and an ALCO,
or an EMD
ALCO should sound different.
Yeah, or an EMD and a GE.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's that part of it. But no, you need to have your sound turned down so it's not overwhelming,
Right.
But I really haven't ran my sound units with other sound units yet. They more or less have been kind of by their lonesome in a consist.
Right. I'm half-assed tempted to run this main line, this mixed freight. Halfway tempted to run it around once, but I'm scared half to death it's going to derail in those curves. Sitting down in staging right now. But I'll tell you what, those SD90s are some pulling horses.
Yeah.
And if I could ever get the curves lined out, where I could put all 3 SD90s on the head end of this mixed freight, that's going to be a sexy train right there. Now, one problem that I have seen if I've got a long train coming in is when it goes to do set outs, the train is halfway back into staging in a curve, trying to back up to push cars up into the level departure track.
Shouldn't you be pulling through an 80 track?
yeah, but if the cars are in the middle of the train, you're still gonna have to unknuckle down at the east side, pull your cars in. See, that's what I did with these grain cars. You remember those grain cars towards the back of the train?
Yeah.
So what I ended up having to do is unbuckle the caboose down,
Yeah.
leave it sitting by its lonesome, and then I pulled through the siding, dropped those cars in the siding, and then pulled on out. But then I had to back that whole train back down the main to go get the caboose.
Yeah.
And did it do it? Yes. Was there any problems? No. But
If you'd had some cars back there, it might have gone down the helix.
it could have.
Yeah. Hey, just fair warning, I'm probably about 2 minutes from the house.
All right. Yeah, I'm fixing to wrap it up here for the night because God forbid Beto calls me at 7 o'clock in the morning and says, "Hey, pit's open, let's go."
Wrong number.
Wrong number. All right. All right. Well,
Yeah. It was good talking to you.
yep.
Keep it cracking on it. We'll get it done.
Well, I mean, it makes for a good video too on the live stream because, people can actually listen in.
Right.
I don't know if there's anybody even on there right now. Yeah, there's 2 people in there.
Oh, no kidding. I don't think I'm one of them. Huh.
Yeah, there's 2 people in there right now for whoever's listening. Welcome to the layout. I don't know if this will tell me who's in there or not because when I click on it, it doesn't tell me who's in there. It just tells me that there's 2 people there and there's 3 lights on it.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I'm pulling in the driveway. Have a good one. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
You working tomorrow night?
No.
All right, I'll holler at you tomorrow evening sometime.
Okay.
See you later.
That'll work. Bye-bye.
All right. For anybody watching right now, been testing track here in the yard, put some more drops in, making sure everything runs real smooth. Probably one of my worst running engines is this GP50 here that I've got on the drill track right now, and so far it's running. It's a lifelike unit, but it runs almost as smooth as a Kato. So it's pretty good smooth. See, it goes across the turnouts nice without any spitting or sputtering or dying out. So this layout is being rebuilt. This section of table right here is 20 years old, and it was in another building, and it was disassembled for years. And I just starting to put it back together and fit it into this room and stuff. So it's amazing how track that's 20 years old still runs just as good as the day it was laid. So got one industry over here in the back. Right now it's a mock-up of grain silos or grain facility. And then back over here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, where the TRE is sitting. There's going to be probably an Amtrak station and a TRE station there representing Dallas. But this is a main line back here that goes to staging. goes in and out of staging. This is main line that will run down to the steel mill and the cement plant at Cleburne. And then this is the arrival departure track. And then this is the main drill track for the yard. Secondary drill track for another yard that's going to be over here, which is going to have 5 arrival and departure tracks. And then you'll have these 2 tracks here for the diesel fueling and engine service facility. And then this track here is a runaround, which will go on back to the car shops and the locomotive repair facility. It's in scale, and it represents the Burlington Northern and Santa Fe back in right after the 1996 merger. So you'll see some Union Pacific come through here, some Southern Pacific, BNSF. You might see a Norfolk Southern come through here every now and then, KCS. And of course the TRE and the Dingo, which is the Dallas BGNO, Dallas Garland and Northeastern. So the Dingo will do local switching, and the BNSF will run classification and interchange and stuff like that. DCC Digitrax with JMRI. And it even comes with my buddy. It even comes with my buddy. Yes, it does. My little awesome Aussie. My little awesome Aussie. You're not going to get up here. I don't want you up here. I don't want you up here. But you're going to get up here anyway, aren't you? You're going to try and get up here anyway, aren't you? Better? Even better? Good. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see. It's against my better judgment. I do have a train up there that I could run around, but the SD90s aren't tracking very good right now in the curves. I'm going to end up having to relay some of the curves with Kato unit track so that I get these SD90s to run. You need a Tic Tac. You know the best things. No. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, buddy. gingerbread skates. All right, folks, it's midnight Central Time, so some of us have to work tomorrow. Guess this is going to wrap it up for tonight. Appreciate everybody that's been watching. If you want to like and subscribe or whatever, that way when I have some future videos, future live streams, then you can come join me and watch me build the railroad. So appreciate it.